Hi there. This is a set of videos that I put together just for you. I look forward to reading your comments and receiving your suggestions on how to make these videos more enjoyable or ideas for specific content that you might have. Thanks for watching. Today, lots of Porsches, a 356, a 928, a pair of Boxsters, and a dozen 911s. Hi there. Porsches sold on Bring a Trailer include a speed yellow over black 2000 Boxster S with 85,000 miles that sold for $15,750. A sale including the hardtop, this is priced to flip in the spring. Well purchased. A Guards Red 1988 928 S4 with 40,000 miles sold for $35,200. Same owner for 10 years, 1,000 miles added. Shame. This was a fair sale. A black 2003 911 Coupe with 85,000 miles sold for $35,500. This 996 is clean, still well sold. A red over black modified 1986 911 Cabriolet project car with at least 165,000 miles sold for $44,500. Steel turbo flares at the rear and more. This car has a 993 engine and several electrical gremlins spoiling the party. This was probably a fair sale. A repainted pearl yellow 2-liter powered 1973 911T Coupe sold for $53,000. A happy little car. This was probably a fair sale. A red over black 1995 911 Cabriolet with 55,000 miles sold for $63,993. Bid to $60,000 in October. This, as I say, is a great way to get into a 993 and a fair sale. A Minerva Blue Rest of World 1977 911 Carrera 3.0 Coupe sold for $85,411. A beautifully restored car. I love this, and the price was at least fair. I'll show more and talk about this 3.0 in today's short video. A Smyrna Green 1963 356B 1600S Coupe sold for $90,000. This is another car that sold at least at a fair price. A repainted, modified, signal orange, backdated 1981 911 SC Coupe 3.3 liter sold for $90,000. Declared a total loss and then rebuilt with a lot of fiberglass, this was likely a fair sale. A chalk over black 2021 Boxster Spider with 7,000 miles sold for $119,500. The sticker here was $123,000. This was well sold. A Grand Prix White 1986 911 Turbo S Coupe with 91,000 kilometers located in Norway sold for $167,001. One of 15 Swiss market examples, this was a fair sale. A Grand Prix White 39,000 mile 1992 911 Turbo sold for $175,000. For a 964 Turbo, this was a fair price, especially with this mileage. A white 3,300 mile 2018 911 GT3 presented by a great seller sold for $197,000. Acquired here 1 year and 200 miles ago for $187,000. This was well sold. A Guards Red 11,000 mile 1987 911 Turbo Coupe M505 slant nose sold for $255,000. One of 145 cars produced in 87, this was well sold. On PCAR Market, an ice green 1976 911S Coupe sold for $80,000. A nice car, this was a fair sale. 9 cars on Bring a Trailer were bid with their reserves not met December 1st through 3rd. A black 2006 911S Cabriolet with 52,000 miles was bid to $30,250. A triple black 1996 911 C4 Cabriolet with 103,000 miles was bid to $42,000. A modified green 2.7-liter powered 1973 911T Targa was bid to $55,911. A Guards Red Canadian market 1995 911 C4 Coupe with 121,000 kilometers was bid to $58,500. A black 2009 911 Turbo Coupe with 92,000 miles was bid to $68,000. A repainted blue Rest of World 1996 911 C4S X51 with 91,000 kilometers was bid to $110,000. A Shark Blue 2023 Cayman GT4 with 108 miles presented by a great seller was bid to $137,000. A Guards Red over Black 2100-mile 2019 911 Speedster was bid to $329,000. A Rosso Corsa 1984 Ferrari 512 BBI with 76,000 miles was bid to $179,000. On Cars and Bids, an Ocean Blue 1999 Porsche 911 with 56,000 miles was bid to $26,501. A Grand Prix White 1989 911 Turbo Coupe with 60,000 miles was bid to $120,000. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, Porsches include 14 911s, a 356, a 914, a 968, a Boxster, and a Cayman. Ferraris include a 328, a 512 TR, and a 550. Hi there. Porsches sold on Bring a Trailer include a Guards Red 1994 968 Coupe with 151,000 miles that sold for $20,500. Better than the average bear, this was a fair sale. A GT Silver over Dark Gray 40,000-mile 2004 Boxster S 550 Anniversary Edition sold for $23,252. A nice package 986, this was a bargain. A Sunshine Yellow over Beige 1973 914 2.0 sold for $26,000. Another better than average car, this was sold at a fair price. A yellow over brown 1979 911 SC Targa with 89,000 miles sold for $61,000. A mostly very nice car, this was a fair sale. A Carrera White over Black 2008 911 Turbo Cabriolet with 52,000 miles sold for $61,500. $100,000 has been my budget price for a 997 Turbo Coupe. Cabs are almost always less by 10 grand or so. This, big fat bargain, even with the dead trees. A Venetian Blue 1987 911 Coupe with 121,000 miles sold for $76,700. Pretty color, good overall condition, and well sold. A black Rest of World 1990 911 non-sunroof coupe with 135,000 kilometers presented by a good seller sold for $107,964. A German market example brought into the U.S. earlier this year. This is an uncommon 964, yet this was still a fair sale. A Signal Red over Black 1964 356C Cabriolet sold for $114,500. A quality driver, this was likely a fair sale. A silver, modified 3.8-liter powered 1969 911T Coupe presented by a great seller sold for $121,000. Previously sold here by this seller in 2016 for $144,000, and again 3 months ago, a non-paying buyer bid $140,000 then, a bit of a haircut today. This build is likely at least a fair sale. Another car by the same seller, a triple black 1994 911 Speedster with 52,000 miles, sold for $142,000. Look at those seats. Bid to $140,000 this past summer. This was a fair price on a highly desirable car. A silver 1987 911 Turbo Coupe with 31,000 miles, sold for $176,000. A well-documented service history and great sale prep brought the dollars. This was just beyond fair, well sold. A Shark Blue 2022 911 GT3 with 4,300 miles, sold for $236,000. Sticker here was 210, well sold, Landshark. A Slate Gray 2022 911 GT3 Touring with 700 miles, sold for $272,000. Sticker here, 196. Paint to sample wins again. Mostly a sleeper, this is a tough purchase to justify for many. Unlike the previous car, no wing to announce the car's capabilities, no blingy interior, just pure functional performance. Very well sold. A triple black 8,000 mile 1989 911 Speedster presented by the same seller as the earlier Speedster, sold for $281,000. Look at those seats. Sticker here was $68,000. It's usually ridiculous to give a sticker price on a 30-year-old car, but this is just about as original as a somewhat enjoyed car gets. Well sold. I'll show more and talk about Speedsters in today's short video. A white with red 507 mile 2016 911R sold for $481,000. This is a collector or museum car, a trading chip among the wealthy. We're already at 3 owners with negligible mileage. I enjoy having multiple cars with different roles to play. Simply having a car to be admired is not for me. I appreciate the investment opportunity, and a car that can hold its value while being enjoyed is great. This is a different game, though. Well sold. For Ferrari, a Rosso Corsa over beige 1987 328 GTS with 25,000 miles presented by a great seller, sold for $83,000. Bid to $51,500 4 years ago. This was a fair sale today with a few questions about originality and paintwork in the air. A Nero Metallizzato over Crema Euro 1992 512 TR with 44,000 kilometers located in Germany, sold for $260,000. A very, very nice car, even with the light interior. This was likely a fair sale. A black 21,000 mile 1997 550 Maranello sold for $260,000. This is a very clean car, and the result was surprisingly high. Well sold. On Cars and Bids, a black 2006 Porsche Cayman S with 124,000 miles sold for $17,775. These have been well cared for miles, good condition, and a bargain basement price. On P-Car Market, a Guards Red Over Black modified 1978 911 SC Targa 3.2 liter sold for $47,000. A decent exterior and interior, but as soon as the engine lid is raised, scary. Porsche did a poor job from the factory on the mid-late 70s and into the 80s cars. They nearly always looked a mess. Hoses, wires, even when new. This was likely a fair sale. A repainted Grand Prix White 1979 911 SC non-sunroof coupe with at least 150,000 miles located in Canada sold for $60,000. This has had steel turbo flares added over all wheels, and it sounds great. This was a fair sale. Jumping ahead a few generations, an Arena Red 1996 911 Coupe with 98,000 miles sold for $73,500. A Decent Driver 993, this was a fair sale. A Gemini Blue over Saddle restored 1988 911 Targa with 98,000 miles sold for $102,000. Many of the component suppliers or rebuilders selected for this rebuild have established reputations, and the result is a seemingly excellent car. I would darken the Targa bar, and I'd have selected a different interior shade. The engine was overhauled by Gulf Performance to the tune of $35,000 several years ago, and this is the result supplied by the seller. A sweep of 2200 to 2900 RPM. Lovely. This was a fair sale. 5 cars on Bring a Trailer were bid with their reserves not met December 4th and 5th. A black 1991 Porsche 928 GT with 117,000 miles was bid to $28,888. A repainted red 1965 356C Coupe was bid to $66,500. An Albert Blue 1971 911E Targa was bid to $105,000. A Mocha Brown Rest of World 1979 930 Turbo with 82,000 kilometers was bid to $112,000. A Rosso Corsa over Tan 1992 Ferrari Mondial T Cabriolet with 25,000 miles was bid to $48,750. On Cars and Bids, an Arctic Silver over Black 2006 Porsche 911 Cabriolet with 98,000 miles was bid to $25,300. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, Porsches include a pair of Boxsters and 15 911s. Boy, Ferraris include a 348 and an F355. Hi there. Porsche sold and Bring a Trailer include a Macadamia over Cocoa 2008 Boxster with 48,000 miles that sold for $14,500. Not the most flattering photography, and with an accident in its history, still, this was a bit of a bargain. An Arctic Silver over Black 21,000 mile 2002 Boxster S sold for $21,250. The seller of this car seems like he's been a conscientious owner, and still he got beat up over the low mileage on the car. There is a sweet spot for mileage with the age of a car, but this seemed like a bargain sale regardless of the expressed concern over it having been a garage queen. A repainted blue Rest of World 1977 911 Carrera 3.0 Targa non-running project car sold for $32,750. Originally platinum, this car reportedly last ran 16 years ago. At this price, this is likely a fair roll of the dice. A GT Silver 3600 mile 2004 911 40th Anniversary Edition sold for $46,800. Sold for $55,500 by this seller in February 2022, listed by the new owner a few months later and bid to $46,000, and now selling again. This was on the high side affair. An Espresso Brown 30 years family-owned 1987 911 Coupe with 77,000 miles sold for $60,500. Another poorly captured brown finish. This was probably a fair sale given the scarcity of this car's history, and the interior is a bit of a fright. An Arena Red modified 1977 911S Coupe presented by a great seller sold for $67,000. Fitted with turbo flares all around, RSR front bumper, a replacement carbureted 2.7, updated interior, and more. No mention of any suspension mods, but it seems to handle okay. This was a fair sale. An Aero Blue 1982 911 SC Targa sold for $72,500. An uncommon blue, not to me a great blue, this was a fair sale. A Carrera White, highly modified GT3 powered 2006 911 race car sold for $74,997. Bid to $75,000 last year, this was a fair sale on an expensive car. A Grand Prix White 1996 911 Coupe with 109,000 miles sold for $78,500. Sold here last year for $80,500. This was a good result for the seller. Well sold. Another Grand Prix White 911, this a 3.6-liter 1978 SC Targa conversion to a Speedster presented by a great seller, sold for $125,000. A definite hot rod build, this car is not subtle. The components are quality, the assembly seems solid, and the sound will get even more attention. This was a fair sale, perhaps seen as a bargain in the future. A Signal Orange twin-plug 2.5-liter powered 1972 911T Coupe presented by a great seller, sold for $146,000. A fabulous-looking car, minus a couple details inside, this was a fair sale. The seat inserts and dash trim could be altered so as not to induce motion sickness. For Ferrari, a Rosso Corsa over beige, 79,000 mile 1990 348 TS sold for $58,000. Perhaps the mileage held this back. This was a bargain. It was previously listed on eBay and bid to $49,000. Ooh. A Rosso Corsa over black 28,000 mile 1999 F355 Spider presented by a good seller sold for $102,000. A nice price on a very good car. This was edging on a bargain. On Cars and Bids, a purple over black 2000 Porsche 911 Cabriolet with 181,000 miles, formerly owned by Tyler Hoover, and now located in Canada, sold for $11,000. Tyler's daughter picked the color for this $2,000 repaint. This was well purchased for those who can embrace the color. A somewhat more traditionally painted 996, a 2002 911 cab in midnight blue over a stormy, sad sea of gray with 118,000 miles, sold for $23,750. Absolutely a fair sale. On P-Car Market, a Guards Red over Black modified 1983 911 SC Targa sold for $30,000. Lots of mods here and not a bad looking car. This was a fair sale. A Platinum 2012 911 non-sunroof coupe with 43,000 miles sold for $60,991. A touch high, but well sold. A white or ivory modified 1970 911T 911R Tribute 3-liter sold for $71,000. A daily driver, this is not. It's loud, raucous, and as splashy as a black and white car with graphics can be. This was probably a fair sale. A Polar Silver, modified 1991 911 C4 Coupe, 3.8-liter with 112,000 miles, sold for $86,964. A rebuilt engine and transmission, performance chipped, custom exhaust, and new brakes and tires. Performance? Listen to this drive-by. Quel dommage. The seats need a little love, otherwise this seems a decent car, and a more than fair sale. An agate gray 2023 911 GTS Coupe with 2,900 miles sold for $178,000. Sticker was $191,000. The seller stated that he waited 559 days from the date of order to delivery, and it took half as long to decide to sell. Shame. This was well sold. 5 cars on Bring a Trailer were bid with their reserves not met December 6th and 7th. A black 13,000-mile 2000 Porsche 911 Coupe was bid to $34,500. A repainted red was Tangerine 1969 911T Coupe was bid to $46,250. A triple black 14,000-mile 2015 Boxster GTS was bid to $57,000. A glacier white over blue 1997 911 Targa with 70,000 miles was bid to $72,878. A Carrera white with martini stripes 2007 911 GT3 with 67,000 miles was bid to $91,997. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, Porsches include a 924, a Cayman, and 9 911s, while Ferraris include a 308 and a 360. Hi there. Porsches sold on Bring a Trailer include a Zermatt Silver 1987 924S with 64,000 miles that sold for $12,000. Shocking news, but these are not at the top of the Porsche food chain. However, they are fun little cars. This above-average condition car was a fair sale. An Arctic Silver 2001 911 Coupe with 51,000 miles sold for $24,177. A fair sale price on what I disingenuously call just the 911. This example appears solid, and the driving experience offered here is as well. A rainforest green over natural brown 2002 911 Cabriolet with 78,000 miles sold for $35,250. I am just a guy with eyes. This interior is neither natural nor brown. A sale including the hardtop, this was well sold. An Atlas Gray 2006 911S Coupe with 51,000 miles sold for $50,050. A nice color and another high 997 price, well sold. A chiffon white backdated 1982 911 SC Coupe 3.6 liter sold for $84,911. Fiberglass body panels and a 993 engine, probably a fair sale. A lava orange 7,000-mile 2018 911 GT3 sold for $170,000. The sticker here was $182. This was well sold. A Guards Red 31,000-mile 1997 911 C4S sold for $216,000. Equipped with the Aero Kit, my next comment will sound as if I'm remarking about Ferraris. This was well sold, especially given the higher mileage. These are more collectibles than drivers these days. Another Guards Red Turbo, this a 1994 911 Turbo 3.6 with 51,000 miles. It's a common number. Sold for $240,000. A previous accident didn't deter bidders much. This was well sold, but it was bid to $252 on P-Car Market. A gray-black 18,000-mile 2011 911 GT3 RS sold for $287,000. One of 541, this sold in about the right zone, $250 to $300. A violet Euro 35,000-kilometer 1993 911 C4 30th Anniversary Jubilee Edition sold for $296,400. Limited to 911 examples, delivered new to Belgium, this was well sold. I'll show more and talk about this Juby in today's short video. For Ferrari, a red over black 1979 308 GTS with 22,000 miles sold for $61,008. Bid to $61,000 in January. This was a fair sale price. An Azuro California one owner 2002 360 Modena with 53,000 miles sold for $87,000. I've seen this car on the road, and it presents well from a distance, and it has been driven, which is great. Not great was the lack of sale prep, and despite that, it was a fair sale at this price, which would otherwise be seen as a bargain. A narrow, supercharged 1977 308 GTB with 69,000 miles presented by a great seller sold for $106,000. Acquired here for $117 in June, they put on nearly 1,000 miles and they got a bit of a loss. This was a fair sale. On Cars and Bids, a jet black 2015 Porsche Cayman GTS with 23,000 miles sold for $65,000. Sticker here was $91,000. Luxor beige inside, but a good dash. Not good is the cheesy side graphics. I like the subtle GTS. This was a fair sale. 4 cars on Bring a Trailer were bid with their reserves not met December 8th through 10th. A triple black 11,000 mile 2003 Porsche Boxster S was bid to $24,000. An Arctic Silver 23,000 mile 2004 911 GT3 was bid to $110,000. A GT Silver 253 mile 2012 911 Turbo Coupe was bid to $294,000. Nice. And sad. A Rosso Corsa Euro 40,000 kilometer 1996 Ferrari F355 Berlinetta was bid to $128,999. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, Porsches include a 914, a 944, a Boxster, and 5 911s, while Ferraris include a Testarossa and a 550. Hi there. Porsche sold on Bring a Trailer include a Zyklem Red 1990 944 S2 with 83,000 miles that sold for $22,750. Sold here 3 years ago for $19,000. This was a fair sale. A black, turbocharged, Subaru-powered 1973 914 presented by a great seller sold for $44,000. Bid last month to $38,750. A bit better performance this time and probably fair. A Guards Red 36,000 mile 1997 911 C4 Cabriolet sold for $68,000. This is a good looking car, a little higher than typical for a 993 cab, but still fair. A black 1988 911 Coupe with 66,000 miles sold for $90,500. A decent car, maybe sold a little high or on the far side of fair. Another all-black 911, this a 1990 with 19,000 miles, sold for $106,000. This seems like a bargain price. Nice. A GT Silver, Canadian Market 2022 911 GT3 Touring with 1,700 kilometers, sold for $212,000. Bid to $206,000 in July. Sticker was $194,000. Well bid earlier and well sold here. A black 1996 911 Turbo with 46,000 miles presented by a great seller sold for $220,000. A great looking car, well presented and well sold. A black 2022 911 GT3 with 396 miles sold for $238,000. Sticker here was $181,000. Very well sold. I'll look at these 2022 GT3s in today's short. For Ferrari, a Rosso Corsa 1990 Testarossa with 54,000 miles sold for $101,000. Mouse belts. The mileage likely spooked some. This was well purchased. A narrow Daytona 4,500 mile 2000 550 Maranello sold for $291,000. A gorgeous car, even with the blood-stained carpet. Well sold. On Cars and Bids, an Arctic Silver over Black 2004 911 C4S Cabriolet with 73,000 miles sold for $31,900. At the low end of the fare zone, this is a lot of car for the money. A Rosso Corsa over beige 1989 Ferrari Mondial T Cabriolet with 33,500 miles sold for $35,500. Not a perfect car, perhaps more of a rolling project, better than that, but this may have been fair or not. On P-Car Market, a triple black 25,000 mile 2010 Porsche Boxster sold for $20,000. A clean car, this was well purchased. 7 Porsches on Bring a Trailer, all but one, a 911, were bid with their reserves not met December 11th and 12th. A Guards Red over Blue Rest of World 1980 SC Targa with 125,000 miles was bid to $45,000. An Iris Blue over Blue 32 years owned 1986 Cabriolet with 134,000 miles was bid to $42,500. Another open-top 3.2, this a black over pearl white turbocharged 1987 Targa with 52,000 miles, was bid to $66,500. A Grand Prix white 911 Turbo Coupe with 77,000 miles was bid to $91,930. Yow. A black US spec 2005 Turbo S Coupe located in Canada with 69,000 miles was bid to $72,500. A repainted Signal Red 1965 356C Coupe was bid to $77,500. An Arctic Silver 25,000 mile 2004 911 GT3 was bid to $110,000. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, Porsches include a pair of 356s, a pair of 912s, a 944, a Boxster, and 8 911s, and a Ferrari Testarossa. Hi there. Porsches sold on Bring a Trailer include an Irish Green 1967 912 Coupe that sold for $56,000. This is a good-looking car and a fair sale. An Arctic Silver 31,000 mile 2006 911 C4 Coupe sold for $57,000. A clean car, this was another frothy 997 sale. Well sold. A Guards Red 32,000 mile 1996 911 Targa sold for $105,000. Another attractive Guards car, this was a fair sale. The Guards, they are a-poppin'. Yet another, a 1997 911 Coupe sold for $131,000. Spats. A broken odometer car, this had 26,000 miles in 2005, as it does today. However, this 993 is in pretty good shape. This was well sold. A Smyrna Green 1963 356B Super 90 Coupe sold for $191,000. A beautiful example in the hands of a prominent collector for decades, this was well sold. A Polo Red 1966 911 Coupe sold for $230,000. A U.S. car exported to Europe several years ago, then refurbished, it re-immigrated to the U.S. last year. A fabulous car, this was well sold. I'll show more and talk about this beauty in today's short. A Vesuvio 34,000 mile 1997 911S Coupe that may or may not be a Vesuvio edition sold for $245,000. The color is uncommon and the car is in great condition. This was well sold. A Guards Red over Cashmere 8,000-mile 1989 911 Turbo Cabriolet M505 slant nose sold for $319,000. A big number, not a good guard's red to me, and not an attractive nose. When new, the Turbo was $71,000 as the base price, plus $30,000 for the nose. Crazy. This was well sold. On PCAR Market, a stone gray 1988 944 Turbo with 145,000 miles sold for $11,050. Described in the listing as a project, there are several items that need to be addressed here, but the starting price is fair. A sapphire blue over blue, 46,000 mile 2014 Boxster sold for $29,000. I like this car, and at $30,000 it's on the low side of fair. An Arctic Silver 1999 911 Coupe with 50,000 miles sold for $30,751. An engine replacement in 2008 probably helped this result, and the surrounding car seems to have been well maintained. A red 1968 912 sunroof coupe sold for $34,000. A rebuilt engine and transmission and clean exterior here, but it seems like there is much to do for this price. Well sold. An Irish Green 1965 356C coupe sold for $41,500. Described as mechanically restored, I think this too was well sold, given the number of visible improvements required. An agate gray 4,000-mile 2018 911 GT3 Touring sold for $229,000. Sticker here was $167. Well sold. For Ferrari, a Rosso Corsa Euro 1988 Testarossa with 7,600 kilometers located in Canada sold for $143,000. Nearly new, and looking every bit of it, this was a fair sale. 11 cars on Bring a Trailer were bid with their reserves not met December 13th and 14th. An Arctic Silver over Black 47,000-mile 2002 Porsche Boxster S was bid to $15,500. A Guards Red 1987 928 S4 with 77,000 miles was bid to $20,500. An Arctic Silver over Gray 27,000-mile 1999 911 Cabriolet was bid to $22,001. A Guards Red 1987 944 Turbo with 26,000 miles was bid to $35,750. A Red over Black, one family-owned 1967 912 soft window Targa was bid to $41,912. An Arctic Silver 40,000-mile 2001 911 Turbo Coupe was bid to $58,496. A black 2017 911 Coupe with 50,000 miles was bid to $64,000. A Guards Red over Black 34,000-mile 1987 911 Targa was bid to $68,000. A silver Euro 1978 930 Turbo with 57,000 miles was bid to $110,000. An Amethyst Rest of World 1991 911 Turbo with 105,000 kilometers was bid to $221,000. An Argento Antiel 1977 Ferrari 512 Berlinetta Boxster was bid to $243,000. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, Porsches include a dozen 911s, a Cayman, a 914, and a 928. Hi there. Porsches sold on Bring a Trailer include a 1971 911T Targa project car that sold for $24,000. Originally pastel blue, this may have been fair. Another Targa, this a tobacco over beige, 28 years owned, 1980 911 SC Targa with 233,000 miles, sold for $31,250. Just for grins, sticker here was $31,369. Lots of miles, but not a bad car and a fair sale. A Polar Silver over Black 2004 911 C4S Cabriolet with 64,000 miles, sold for $33,250. A Porsche replaced engine 24,000 miles ago could make this more attractive, or not, depending upon one's perspective. I think it was well purchased. A Sunflower Yellow over Black 1974 914 2.0 sold for $36,900. A big price for a 914, this is a nice car and it was well sold. A Seal Gray 38,000 mile 2005 911 S Coupe sold for $40,911. These mounted OZ wheels are accompanied by the stock wheels. This was a fair sale and relative to recent 997 sales, bargain territory. A Carmine Red over Black 3.6 liter powered 1987 911 Cabriolet with 80,000 miles sold for $46,000. Bid to $50,000 in November 2022. There has been some additional work on the car, and the engine is from a 95 911. This needs some work, but the sale seems fair. A Peru Red 1974 911 Coupe with 99,000 miles presented by a great seller sold for $55,000. The interior is described as copper red, and I'm okay with that. The carpet, oof, this was well purchased. A Black over Champagne 1985 911 Targa with 96,000 miles sold for $62,000. Needs black floor mats or carpet. This is an attractive car and it was a touch of a bargain. Another Targa, a Baltic Blue over Blue 28 years owned 1990 911 Targa with 44,000 miles sold for $80,500. Bid to $63,500 in September. This needs some air dam adjustment, otherwise it was a fair sale, and there seems to be some untapped value here. A Stone Gray 1989 911 Coupe with 107,000 miles sold for $85,000. A classic 911 in a good color, though linen leather is tough to keep tidy. This 911 was sold here in 2016 for $51,000. Again this May for $76,500. This was a fair sale. A dark blue 6,000 mile 2016 Cayman GT4 sold for $112,000. The sticker here was $97,910. Demand still pushes these to what I see as abnormal prices. Well sold. A Grand Prix White Safari Style Rest of World 1985 911 Coupe with 156,000 miles sold for $140,000. This seems like a quality build. The spats, while functional, need to be easily removed and attached. They are unsightly. This was well sold. On PCAR Market, a black 1986 928S with 145,000 miles sold for $9,050. Not a perfect car, but worth this price and a roll of the dice. This was a fair or better sale. A GT Silver 13,000 mile 2004 911 40th Anniversary Edition sold for $48,000. At the upper end of fair or slightly well sold, these are very capable performers. A Ruby Stone Red 1992 964 Carrera RS N GT with 52,000 kilometers located in Germany sold for $275,000. The NGT was created as a lightweight competition-ready homologation special of the 964 Cup car, lighter than the already lighter weight RS. This is a rare car, one of 290. This was well sold. I'll show more and talk about this RS in today's short. 5 Porsches on Bring a Trailer were bid with their reserves not met December 15th through 17th. A Guards Red over Black, 34 years owned, 1988 911 Cabriolet with 54,000 miles was bid to $48,500. A Basalt Black, 21,000 mile 2003 911 Turbo Coupe X50 was bid to $73,000. A Carrera White 7,000 kilometer 2008 911 GT3 located in Canada was bid to $134,911. A Shark Blue 2,000 mile 2022 911 Targa 4S was bid to $166,000. A Carrera White 1100 mile 2007 911 Turbo Coupe was bid to $186,000. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, 14 Porsche 911s, a trio of 356s, a 912, a 944, and a Boxster. Hi there. Porsches sold on Bring a Trailer include an Alpine White original owner 1985 and a half 944 with 57,000 miles that sold for $12,750. A decent car, this was a fair sale. An Aventurine Green 1995 968 Coupe with 141,000 miles sold for $17,750. One of the masses' favorite color combos, this was a fair sale. A black 2000 911 Coupe with 97,000 miles sold for $23,750. If you're not typically a 996 fan, take a few extra seconds and look at this example. Love it. This was a slight bargain. A Polo Red, one family-owned 1966 912 Coupe project car sold for $33,000. Yep, it's a project. This was possibly a fair sale. A white 1965 356C Coupe sold for $63,000. A mostly fair car, this was a fair sale. An Etna Blue 3.6-liter powered 1977 911S Coupe sold for $65,000. A few engine stumbles and worries kept down the bidding. This car was short some important details and a risk for the buyer. Perhaps a fair sale. A Grand Prix White 1985 911 Coupe with 65,000 miles sold for $71,000. A good car and a good price, well purchased. A black over tan 25,000 mile 1995 911 Cabriolet sold for $72,000. Low miles pushed this higher than most 993 cabs, but it was still a fair sale. A repainted red original owner 1969 911T Coupe sold for $76,000. Originally slate gray, this car has some needs, but one owner. This was a fair sale. An Arctic Silver 6,000 mile 2007 911 Targa 4S sold for $79,500. Another well-sold 997, at least this one has the benefit of very low miles. A black 40 years owned 1974 911 Coupe twin plug presented by a great seller sold for $85,500. A well-presented car with above-average mechanical condition, this was a fair sale. A black 19,000 mile 1987 911 Coupe sold for $110,000. A clean, classic car, this was just beyond fair. A speed yellow 29,000 mile 2007 911 Turbo Coupe sold for $116,000. Well sold at this price, yellow takes the dollars. A black over black in Pepita Ewan McGregor owned 1972 911T Targa sold for $166,000. A clean car, but a price far, far away from fair. Well sold. A black 8,000-mile 1996 911 C4S sold for $216,000. One comment suggested that this might now be a museum piece, and it's edging that direction. Well sold. A sepia brown, single-family owned 1973 911S coupe sold for $240,000. A big sale price, a fine car, and well sold. A black 2022 911 GT3 Touring with 4,000 miles sold for $264,000. 211 was the sticker. All together now, well sold. A ruby red 1962 356B twin grill roadster sold for $400,000. A very fine car, beautiful. This was well sold. A black over red 2.2-liter powered 1957 356A Speedster 5-speed sold for $590,000. I'm a little surprised about this sale. The original engine and transmission, while included in the sale, have been swapped for newer running gear, the engine from a 912 and the transaxle from a quality third party. Regardless, with the originals on hand, very well sold. I'll show more and talk about this speedster in today's short. For Ferrari, a Rosso Corsa 4,800-mile 2000 550 Maranello sold for $296,000. 550s are great cars, and this was a fair sale. On Cars and Bids, a Guards Red over Black 1999 Porsche Boxster with 82,000 miles sold for $89,50. This 986 has experienced a couple of accidents and shows some wear. Bargain. A black 2019 911T with 9,300 miles sold for $99,500. 911Ts are most famous these days as the 911 that a Cybertruck towing a similar 911 beat in a race. They are mechanically based models, however this example is well equipped with rear steering, front axle lift, LED dynamic lights, adaptive sports seats, and stickered at $128,000. This was a fair sale. On P-Car Market, a dark blue over blue 1990 911 C4 Targa with at least 30,000 miles sold for $105,000. This paint on this 964 needs a refresh, and the car has been in some accidents, and the odometer has been repaired. One of 158 made this model year. There's value at this price, and it was a fair sale. 5 cars on Bring a Trailer were bid with their reserves not met December 18th and 19th. A speed yellow over black modified 2008 Porsche 911 Turbo Cabriolet with 12,000 miles was bid to $99,500. An ice gray 2023 911 C4 GTS Coupe with 315 miles was bid to $205,000. An ivory 1959 356A 1600S convertible D was bid to $300,000. A Rosso Corsa 8,000-mile 2007 Ferrari 599 GTB Fiorano 6-speed conversion was bid to $193,000. A black over beige 15,000-mile 2006 F430 Spider was bid to $236,000. On Cars and Bids, a GT Silver 2023 Cayman GT4 with 3,100 miles was bid to $122,800. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, Porsches include a 356, a 912, a 968, 12 911s, a pair of Boxsters, a Cayman, and Ferraris 348 and F355. Hi there, Porsche sold on Bring a Trailer include a Seal Gray over Black 15,000 mile 2003 Boxster that sold for $19,250. A good-looking car, worthy of an above-average price, yet sold at a fair price. An Atlas Gray 2006 Cayman S with 86,000 miles sold for $25,987. A good color and a fair sale price. A red over beige 2.7-liter powered 1981 911 SC Targa with unknown mileage sold for $30,000. This is a roll of the dice car. Not enough information here to make an informed remote decision, other than to suggest that it probably would sell better the next time with a different engine and maybe a better wheel skins. A Sahara Beige over Tan 1976 912E with 155,000 miles sold for $45,600. A clean car and a momentum Porsche like a 914 or 924, this was well sold. A Primer Gray 1960 356B Cabriolet project car sold for $50,500. Sold disassembled, but with a pair of engines and transaxles, this was likely fair in the right hands. An Anthracite Gray 31 years family-owned 1979 911 SC with 34,000 miles sold for $72,000. Another good color and low miles, this was well purchased. An Arctic Silver original owner 2001 911 Turbo Coupe with 11,000 miles sold for $75,000. $50,000 with average miles is my standard price. These low miles are nice and the car was well sold. A Guards Red 11,000 mile 2015 911 Targa 4S sold for $123,000. Sticker here was $136. This was a reasonable sale. An Arctic Silver, one owner, 1997 911 C4S with 72,000 miles sold for $132,000. A pretty good looking car that has had lots of track use, this was still a fair sale. A Champagne 36 years owned 1979 930 Turbo with 31,000 miles sold for $136,000. Low miles, fine shape, and a fair sale. A repainted gray 1969 911E Coupe sold for $142,000. Originally tangerine, this is a very well prepared car. It sounds interesting, and it looks fantastic. Well sold. A Minerva Blue 1976 Carrera 3.0 Coupe with 60,000 kilometers located in Austria sold for $195,000. With a 30-year owner prior to the selling dealer, this car is magnificent. The blue inside is heavy. This was well sold. A silver 1996 911 Turbo with 51,000 miles sold for $223,000. We have been blessed to have many nice cars today. Another great car, this probably considered a driver 993 Turbo, and for that a price on the low side of fair. A beautiful car, though it's tough to imagine this not being fitted with sport seats. Well sold. A black 21 years owned 1994 911 Turbo 3.6 with 69,000 miles sold for $320,000. One of about 1,500, this clean example was well sold. For Ferrari, a narrow over black 1990 348 TS with 31,000 miles presented by a great seller sold for $60,000. This was a good buy on a decent car. A white over red 30,000 mile 1998 F355 Spider sold for $109,500. A one-bid auction sale, this was still a fair price. On Cars and Bids, a lapis blue over black 2002 Porsche Boxster with 58,000 miles sold for $12,500. An attractive topless car, this was well purchased. A Grand Prix white over blue 1994 968 Cabriolet with 110,000 miles sold for $16,500. Well purchased, this is a bargain on an often overlooked car. On P-Car Market, a Meteor Gray over wine, one owner 1986 911 Targa M491 with 134,000 miles sold for $116,000. One of 57 wide-body Targas, this was well sold. A Bahama Yellow 1970 911 Coupe 3-liter twin plug sold for $160,000. A quality build, this was likely a fair sale, and it includes a clock from a fighter jet. 3 cars on Bring a Trailer were bid with their reserves not met December 20th and 21st. A Grand Prix white over black 25 years owned 1987 Porsche 911 Targa with 39,000 miles was bid to $64,911. A black 3,600-mile 2004 911 GT3 was bid to $140,000. A Grigio Titanio 1998 550 Maranello with 24,000 miles was bid to $117,000. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, a dozen Porsche 911s, a pair of Boxsters, a Cayman, and a 928. Hi there. Porsche sold on Bring a Trailer include a midnight blue over gray 2000 911 Cabriolet with 118,000 miles. It sold for $13,750. This 996 is a rough customer with no history. This was likely a fair sale. A basalt black modified 2007 911S Coupe with 58,000 miles sold for $37,500. Many mods here, plus an accident. This brought more than I expected. It was well sold. A Guards Red 2006 911S Coupe with 67,000 miles sold for $44,000. A fair price relative to recent 997 sales. This is a clean car. An Arctic Silver 41,000 mile 2010 Cayman S sold for $44,500. A better than average car, this sold a bit higher than fair. A repainted red 1974 911S Coupe slant nose conversion sold for $46,000. Previously yellow, the steel fenders were fitted prior to the red paint being slapped on in a less than concours manner. This was a fair sale. A slate gray 23,000 mile 2003 911 Turbo X50 Coupe sold for $82,888. A nice color, sold very well. A midnight blue non-sunroof rest of world 1992 928 GTS with 82,000 kilometers sold for $94,500. A very good-looking 928. This was well sold. A pastel yellow 1997 911 Coupe with 69,000 miles presented by a great seller sold for $109,000. A recent engine-out top-end rebuild set up this 993 for many happy days. This was a fair sale. A black 50,000-mile 1997 911 Turbo S sold for $439,000. One of 176 made for the U.S. This sale was fair. Yesterday I missed a car, a diamond blue 1988 911 Turbo Cabriolet M505 slant nose with 8,000 miles sold for $270,000. A great car, even with the slant. This was a fair sale. I'll show more and talk about this car in today's short video. On Cars and Bids, a triple black 2002 Boxster S with 59,000 miles sold for $14,750. A car with some dings and deferred maintenance, this was still a fair sale. A Seal Gray 2001 911 C4 Coupe with 69,000 miles sold for $29,711. A decent car, this was sold on the far side of fair. A Cobalt Blue modified 2007 Cayman S with 32,000 miles sold for $32,001. Wheels and suspension, intake and exhaust, this brought a better price than fair. A Carrera White 2008 911 Coupe with 71,000 miles sold for $32,500. This is very fair, edging toward a bargain. On PCAR Market, a repainted red over black and gray 1971 911T Targa with 88,000 miles sold for $78,500. Originally dark red, this good car brought a good price. A Guards Red, Rest of World non-sunroof 1979 930 Turbo with 55,000 miles sold for $95,000. Many details and opportunities for refinement are present here. This may have been fair, but it seems a touch too dear. 4 cars on Bring a Trailer had reserves that were not met December 22nd and 23rd. A green, modified 1964 356C Coupe was bid to $68,064. An agate gray over cognac and espresso 2015 911 Turbo S Cabriolet with 58,000 miles was bid to $92,000. A silver Japanese market 1977 930 Turbo Carrera 3.0 with 70,000 kilometers was bid to $112,000. A Carmine Red 424-mile 2018 911 GT3 was bid to $206,000. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, Porsches include 11 911s, a 914, a 944, a 968, a Boxster, and a Cayman. Ferraris include 2 456s, an F355, and a special honorable mention. Hi there. Porsche sold to Bring a Trailer include a white over black and red, highly modified Subaru-powered 1976 914 that sold for $12,500. Lots of opportunities here, and I'm unsure what benefit the Subi engine affords except complexity. This was perhaps fair, perhaps well sold. A GT Silver over Cocoa Brown 2004 Boxster S 550 Anniversary Edition with 41,000 miles sold for $18,750. A multi-accident victim, the Carfax report shows that the front, right side, rear, left rear, and right rear sustained minor to moderate damage in December 2017, and the rear and left rear sustained minor damage in March 2020. One of 1,953 produced, this was a slight bargain. A Stone Gray 1988 944S with 71,000 miles presented by a great seller sold for $28,000. A 944 in exceptional condition, this was well sold. A Ruby Stone Rest of World 1992 968 Coupe with 88,000 kilometers sold for $66,500. A Japanese market car imported to the U.S. in 2023. It's in very good condition and it was very well sold. And it's colorful. A silver 2.4-liter powered 1970 911T Coupe presented by a great seller sold for $92,500. A solid car, this was on the high side of fair. The prototypical late 80s 911, a Guards Red 1987 Coupe with 75,000 miles, presented by a great seller, sold for $95,911. Clean car and a sale price on the high side of fair, typical also for this seller. A black 1991 911 coupe with 111,000 miles sold for $100,000. A broken odometer car, this fact and the non-standard wheels held down bidding. This was perhaps well purchased. A Meteor Gray over Gray 18,000 mile 2009 911 Turbo Cabriolet sold for $106,500. Gray over Gray sounds boring, but Meteor Gray is interesting and the interior is stone. This was a fair sale on a tremendous performer. A jet black 5,000 mile 2019 911 GT3 Touring sold for $242,000. Not a fan of the red gauges. Sticker here was $182,000. Big dollars for a 4-year-old and somewhat used car, but fair viewed against comparables. A GT Silver over Cognac and Black 3,700 kilometer 2019 911 Speedster located in Canada sold for $351,000. A Heritage Edition equipped car that stickered for $352,000 Canadian. This was well sold. For Ferrari, a narrow 1995 456 GT with 41,000 miles sold for $76,000. A bargain price, this car was owned by American Hot Rod presenter Boyd Coddington. A Rosso Corsa over Tan 1995 F355 with 23,000 miles sold for $87,000. A decent car, this was a fair sale price. On P-Car Market, a primered 1969 Porsche 911E Carmen Coupe project car sold for $24,511. I think this was well sold. A Guards Red 50,000 mile 2004 911 C4S sold for $44,500. 996 C4Ss are wonderful, balanced performers, and they have a look that's very similar to a turbo. This was a fair sale. A Midnight Blue 1995 911 C4 Coupe with 104,000 miles sold for $75,000. Bid and unsold at $71,000 in an auction 4 months ago. This sale was on the low side of fair. A Python Green 7,000 mile 2021 Cayman GT4 sold for $112,250. Stickered at $118,000. This was well sold. A Grigio Medio 1975 911 Silver Anniversary 3.5 liter Custom sold for $150,000. Few traces of the original Silver Anniversary remain. However, the car now far exceeds the original. Patrick Motorsports built the entire powertrain, and the other mods are almost all very nice. This was a fair sale. An Amethyst 1992 911 Carrera RS with 87,000 kilometers located in Switzerland sold for $236,000. Look at those seats. Beautiful, rare, and now in the hands of a buyer who previously owned 4 other RSs. Well sold. Another Swiss car, this a Rosso Fiorino, one owner, 4,000 mile 1998 456 MGT, sold for $130,456. To me, a color about 17 notches up the ladder from Rosso Corsa. Pardon me, Enzo. This was a fair sale on a very well-maintained and little-driven V12 road car. 3 cars on Bring a Trailer were bid with their reserves not met December 26th and 27th. A black over, cashmere beige 1995 911 Cabriolet with 49,000 miles was bid to $52,000. A linen over black 3,100 mile 1989 911 Speedster presented by a great seller was bid to $220,000. An Argento over Rosso 1987 Ferrari 328 GTS with 68,000 miles was bid to $63,000. On Cars and Bids, a black 2005 Ferrari 612 Scaglietti with 33,000 miles was bid to $121,000. On P-Car Market, a sand beige 1966 Porsche 912 Coupe was bid to $37,750. An interesting honorable mention today, and one that will grace today's short video, a white Ferrari 250 GT Berlinetta short wheelbase recreation by Stefano Allegretti, located in Switzerland, sold for $767,000. Based on a 250 GTE chassis, this is as close to a new old stock Ferrari as one can get. This was well sold on a nearly one-of-a-kind car. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well. Today, Porsches include 9 911s, 2 356s, a 912, a 928, a 944, a pair of Cayman. Ferraris include a Testarossa, an F355, and a Para Mondial. Hi there. Porsches sold on Bring a Trailer include a Zermatt Silver 1986 Porsche 944 Turbo with 110,000 miles that sold for $21,600. A decent car. This was a fair sale. A black 1989 928 S4 with 159,000 miles sold for $31,500. The paint here isn't the best. The interior, though, looks nice, and the engine seems clean and very well maintained. This was a fair sale. A Bahama yellowish 1969 912 Coupe sold for $42,250. A nice car overall. This was probably fair. A black over red 34,000 mile 2006 911 C4S Cabriolet sold for $62,501. Red dash, doors, and A-pillar. Hard pass for me. This was well sold. A lapis blue 2003 911 Turbo Coupe X50 with 79,000 miles sold for $73,000. Woodsy Tree Central. Cinnamon is the interior color. Cinnamon comes from the inner bark of trees, and this Porsche 996 has its interior slathered in cinnamon and accented by more dead trees. This was well sold. A black 1987 911 Coupe presented by a great seller sold for $87,411. A great seller and a great looking car, well presented and surprisingly well purchased. To a dealer, a repainted Gulf Orange RSR style 1973 911E Coupe twin plug 2.7 liter sold for $90,000. Typically, color changes are, in retrospect, poor choices. Originally Marathon Blue, this change to orange fits the build. This was a fair sale. A sapphire over Luxor Beige 8,000 mile 2015 911 Targa 4S sold for $120,000. Another lovely blue exterior and awful interior. All get in line with the idea that the color contrast pops, but instead of mere popping, this is an explosion of what becomes beige awfulness. Plus, it has the goofy Targa top, light finish Targa bar, and dead trees inside. This was well sold. A repainted Etna Blue over Gray 1960 356B Cabriolet sold for $250,550. Originally ivory, this is a larger number than I expected. This was well sold. A red over black 1958 356A Cabriolet with a hardtop presented by a great seller sold for $255,000. This is a hardtop only cab, meaning no soft top or folding mechanism. This was literally the second one built in 1958, and it's in good shape. This was a fair sale. An extra auction, a blue whale tail for a 911 RS America sold for $14,000. No words. Fat price. For Ferrari, a Rosso Corsa over beige 11,000 mile 1989 Mondial T Cabriolet sold for $57,000. Lower miles than most, a little higher than most, a fair sale. A Rosso Corsa 15,000 mile 1990 Testarossa presented by a great seller sold for $170,000. A nicely refreshed redhead, this was a fair sale. A Nero Carbonio 1995 F355 Berlinetta with 10,000 miles presented by a great seller sold for $256,000. A bloody mess inside, figuratively. This is a clean car, and it was a fair sale. On Cars and Bids, a seal gray over black 2002 Porsche 911 C4 Cabriolet with 46,000 miles sold for $30,500. Not a bad car overall. This was on the high side of fair. A Guards Red 2021 Cayman with 16,000 miles sold for $57,500. Sticker here was $70,000. This was a fair sale. On PCAR Market, a Peru Red 1976 911S Targa project car with 139,000 miles sold for $20,000. Lots to do here. This probably was still a fair sale. A white 1968 912 Coupe 1.7 liter sold for $38,000. A tad on the visually uninteresting side, this seems nonetheless like a sound car, and it was a fair sale. A Carrera White 2003 911 C4S Coupe with 89,000 miles sold for $42,250. Nearly every time we have a 996 C4S here, I remark about their performance virtues and inherent value. This car is no exception, even with the less than satisfying Boxster red and fake aluminum interior. This was still a fair sale. A Carrera White modified 2012 Cayman R 3.8 liter with 69,000 miles sold for $82,000. Lots of money spent on this one, $100,000 on top of the purchase price of the original car, and a price today that can best be described as fair, but with additional value. Far too many upgrades and mods to cover here, but I'll take note of some of the highlights in today's short video. An Arctic Silver 2800 mile 2005 911 Turbo S Aero Kit sold for $206,000. A big number for this 996. It is understandably like new, and this was very well sold. A white 5,000 mile 2016 911R sold for $375,000. A sale price on the low side, this was perhaps a bargain. A black 1989 Ferrari Mondial T Coupe with 39,000 miles sold for $48,500. The seller wasn't very involved with this sale due to some medical issues. This was perhaps well purchased. 6 cars on Bring a Trailer were bid with their reserves not met December 28th through 30th. A black 1986 Porsche 944 Turbo with 65,000 miles was bid to $30,000. A black 47,000 mile 1995 911 Coupe was bid to $76,500. An Arctic Silver 6,000 mile 2001 911 Turbo Coupe was bid to $93,500. Should have sold. An Arena Red 1996 911 C4S with 46,000 miles was bid to $118,000. A Polar Silver 1996 911 Turbo with 27,000 miles was bid to $235,000. A black 2,400 mile 2011 911 GT2 RS was bid to $577,777. I would have sold. On Cars and Bids, an Arctic Silver 2006 911 Cabriolet with 45,700 miles was bid to $34,750. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well.